What's up, guys? Emily here with Rogue Ambitions, and I'm getting ready to walk you through the beginning stages of being able to turn your own duck call, which is casting the blank. That's my favorite part. That's what I do. So, check it out. This is where the magic happens, and I've got the best view in the house, as you can see. I built this table a few weeks ago specifically for casting blanks. Got my dehydrator over here. I've got my Pearl-Ex. I've got my dyes. I've got everything that I need. Got my pressure pot. Over here is my hot glue gun station for creating plastic lures. I couldn't think of the name. Anyway, all right, let's get started. Right now, we're getting ready to pour a blank insert, an insert blank to match this Terminator.
And we take our blank, which is now drilled, and we slide it on this expanding mandrel, and it goes on there like that. Then just take a little Allen wrench, go in the inside of the mandrel, and it helps if you have the right size Allen wrench. And once it's in there, just make sure that it's tightened down pretty good. Don't need to go crazy on it, just don't want that to spin. And now we are ready to turn. Bring up your rest. Make sure you're not bumping. Make sure your height's good. You want to be just a little bit higher than the center line of your working piece. And you want to get that as close to your piece that you're working as possible. Tighten that down. Good to go. Make our own rings in-house too. So we start off actually with a stainless steel, 304 stainless steel tube, and we use that because it's low carbon, won't rust, especially with the salt water that these are likely going to be in. And we use this bandsaw, chop them off. Once they come out, they're going to be burred up a little bit and kind of nasty cuts. So then we just take a file and file those down until they are roughly like this. And then once you have this, there's still a little bit rough edges, so you take sandpaper to it until you can get a nice clean edge. Alright, now we've got this sanded down to 800 wet dry, and it's got a couple little scuff marks obviously from that 800 sandpaper. We're going to use some of this. This is Novus heavy scratch remover. It's just a polishing compound. Put a little bit on a dust free or lint free cloth. Alright, so after a lot of sanding, basically I took this off the mandrel, turned it around so I could cut the front end off and polish that. If you noticed before, I did sand and polish all but the front. That way I have to turn this around as few times as possible. That'll put less scratches through the center of the insert. Then I put the band on, and once the band was on, then polished that up as well. Now, as you can see, the exterior is nice and shiny, and just need to do a little bit of polishing inside to get that nice and shiny and clear as well. But I don't know if you can tell, there are some flakes in here, a little bit of smoke, a couple wisps of that, and then we've got those aluminum spiral shavings from drilling out the jig. Actually, that's what that came from. So now that the barrel is almost completely done, we're going to move on to the insert. Alright, the other insert is for the terminator call. It's still curing, so I'm going to turn this one and have it ready. Basically it's a piece like this, similar, and it's chalked up in the chuck there, and we're just basically going to turn that down so it's going to match the same size of this ring, so it'll butt up against it, and then we'll be able to shape that out. And then we'll drill a hole through the center, get it in the jig. So what I like to do, since this is in the chuck, is I'm going to get my live center on my tailstock, bring that up, and just hold this together just to keep it from wobbling and flexing, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so now the insert here has been turned into its shape. We've matched the size to the ring using the caliper, so that way it's going to have a nice even flow, and try to replicate some of that same curve to match the curve in the call. So now I've just got a center boring bit here, and we're just going to drill out that center piece just a little bit, and then we're going to do our different size drill bits. Will go in to a certain depth, will come out, switch to a bigger drill bit, go into a certain depth, come out, switch to a bigger one, go in, come out. So that way the tube that's going through the center of the insert starts at a narrower tube and then gets wider, and that just helps project for the sound that I'm shooting for. Alright, skipped ahead a whole bunch of sanding, and when I say a whole bunch, like an hour or more. So then what we have here is the finished insert, ready to be cut. So what we're going to do next, now that we have our hole drilled, and it's drilled to a specific depth, and stepped up the drill bit sizes, we've got the end of this finished. Now's where my jig comes into play. So this will now go in the jig, and then we'll tighten that down, and then we can run it on the band saw and cut out our specific shape for the tone board, and it'll be ready to throw some cork in it and a couple reeds, and then tune it from there by slowly sanding on the tone board once it's cut and adjusting the reeds accordingly. So let's get this done. Alright, now that we have that done, put the reeds in, and Emily has come up with a recipe for the reeds using a combination of 10 mil and 7 mil double reed to get a real raspy tone. Got the cork in there, and I've got a divot through here, a groove, to put an O-ring so when it goes in the caul it won't slide out, it'll stay nice and tight. So let's go ahead and put them together and assemble it. Alright, what we do now is we just take the caul and the insert and slide them in together. And there you go. So now that size matches the ring and gives a nice fluid look. Pretty cool stuff. That's how it's made. Let's give it a sound. And that, my friend, is how we make a duck call. Thanks for watching. Peace out.